Hi, Thomas. Welcome back. How are you today?
Hi, Dharam. Yeah, I'm great. So I'm waiting for the weekend because I will meet some close friends on the weekend. We do it once a year, and I know these friends from 40 years ago, when we were at university and start studying mathematics. So this is
Ah,
a group, and we meet once a year still. So that's a good thing.
fantastic. I'm sure. I mean, you have been meeting, so you know them. So otherwise, if you see them after 40 years, yeah, they are
Yeah,
not the same young boys and girls. So today's topic very interesting, especially the hot topic, artificial intelligence. So importance of data literacy for project managers in the age of artificial intelligence.
yeah.
So how do experts anticipate that data-driven transformation will reshape organizations' practices by 2025 or beyond?
Well, there will be very dramatic shifts. Some of them, for some companies, will be more gradually, and smooth, and for some it will be disruptive. And it's a shift. What I think, especially in decision making, because you have a lot more information, not from the first sense, from your own senses, but you get it through the senses of AI, whatever it is, and they give you some analysis from it, some report, maybe some suggestions what to decide. And that's will be happening more and more. So if you are a project manager or a CEO or a medical doctor, you get information from secondhand, not from the first observation, more and more. And this is driving your decisions. And it is important that you have trust in this recommendations or this analysis that is provided to you by a computer. Sometimes, you don't need to really trust because as we go in, and decisions become faster and faster, and the need for decisions becomes more urgent, you will not have the time really to think about it. Is it true or whatever. And this is a danger. You can maybe build in some reconciliation of the information. Use two of them, and in mission critical decisions, you will certainly do that. But as you see, like hiring people, if you are an HR guy in an organization, hiring people already today depends on data analysis from social media. They are scanned. What is your profile saying? What is your CV saying? Is there some other information about what you've done? And this will be put together, by AI, or is being put together by AI tools. Today, many big companies are using it already for years. And then HR managers, have a short list of people they look at, and maybe 100 people applied for a job, and 90 of them are being decisively put off the list by AI. So is that good? I don't know. Um,
Mm.
so you have other things like insurance companies, insurance claims, So or banks, you make a transaction and looks a little bit suspicious. Your bank will utilize the AI and they will alert. That's not a big damage in the moment because it might be even a protection. I had this once when I was in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I was in a restaurant and I paid for it, and some hours later, somebody took my credit card. I didn't give my credit card out of my hand. They just had the data from the credit card, and they withdraw some money from my account.
Wow.
But the bank in Germany, immediately did cancel this credit card, so stopped it, blocked it, and I called them. They told me that, and we discussed, and they reimbursed me for the amount because I don't know, do they have the insurance? But it's a policy. Maybe it's even a kind of regulation and law what they have to do. If I have no fault, if I still have my credit card in my hand, and I didn't let anybody look at the pin or whatever, what was used, then AI gives a good decision recommendation, and then you know to have to act. By the way, it's a little bit embarrassing if you are in a restaurant to try to pay with a credit card again and it's blocked. You better have two credit cards. So.
Yeah, that's fine. Look, we are living in the artificial intelligence, and it's growing now. So, as a project manager, program manager, or whatever decision making role you are in, you learn. How can I utilize this? Is a new technology to better do my projects and programs effectively and efficiently. So yes, data is very important. Data is the starting point. And again, whether using ChatGPT or any other system, it is what you provide. What's the basis of that decision or the information going to come out from the ChatGPT is based on what you provide, how you write the message, how you ask the question, and
Yeah. Well, I think, as you mentioned, ChatGPT, which is now very hyped up, because it was announced last year, and there are a lot of derivatives now, and I'm using it, and still, I don't think that ChatGPT is at the core of AI, what we will use as project managers, If you look at PMI, for instance, they have developed their own AI derivative of ChatGPT with their own data, and it will serve for other purposes than you do now. Now maybe you use ChatGPT as a kind of very intelligent Google, you know. So you ask a question, and you get an answer, and then something happens, and so it's more what Prima is developing, more something specific to project manager and what they use. Yet,
yeah,
if you are a project manager using it in your project, it's not yet that you automate your processes, that you have some alert systems. This will come on top of that you have your processes and your actions observed, and we already see that if we have some Microsoft Teams, they have a recording feature, and they give you a minutes of the call you had with the people at and some recommendations and some tasks, and you can use that to create very quickly some write up, some minutes from the meeting, and this is up to the efficiency of doing meetings. Even if you prepare meetings, you can set agendas, and if it's let's say a weekly meeting, you can use the same to-do list and everything to go into the meetings, which will save you a lot of time, and you don't forget anything, and it's you are reminded to do this and that.
yeah.
So the question is, as a project manager, um, how can we prepare ourselves to be able to utilize it, to understand it in both the areas, what can you do functional-wise with it, but also how do you deal with the data that is inputting there. And PMI has two very good free courses, especially for project managers. One about AI in general, and the second one I took last week. It's 2 or 3 hours, about data governance for AI.
Mm.
And did you attend the second course yet?
No, not yet. I'm yet to get into that.
So
Roadmap.
I can recommend it, that because it really looks at how to deal with the data, with the data security, with the governance, with all these information. So the one key message out of this course is, as a project manager, you have a new set of stakeholders, and the stakeholders are the specialists around data, because you cannot possibly become such a specialist in GDPR, in how to acquire the data, in data governance, and so on. You cannot become, as a project manager, specialist in all these topics, but you have to team up with them. And as there might be let's say, a financial guy in your organization which helps you create a budget for a project, so there will be also a data guy that helps you to get the right data in. And you have to distinguish between the data that comes from the outside, which is on the internet or in which even is maybe not publicly available, but it's available from the outside in forms of intelligence. You might go into separate databases who provide information about your customers or about your competition, and that's interesting. But also the data from internally, and which might be even more difficult. So I had a discussion on the weekend with a guy, a woman actually, who is in charge of intellectual property patents for a Swiss company. And she got 2 patents from 2 departments, and then she said, okay, this looks like it's the same topic, and maybe they can benefit from each other and working together. So
Mm.
she made a meeting with all of them, and in the end, it didn't come out that they collaborate because the departments are silos. So this means, on organizations, there is a pressure to change from a hierarchical organization to a flat organization, because the driver of information and innovation and the benefit out of AI is, that you have the data of everybody on an equal base. And
Yeah.
that's not really the fact for all companies I know.
Okay, great. Okay, so let me talk about next question. According to experts, how is AI expected to transform conventional roles and duties within project management framework?
I think that's significant, not only the project manager role, but also developer roles. And as I said, we
Yeah.
have this new roles, or relatively new roles, like data experts and security experts and everything, and and with all these roles, also new processes and new types of collaboration and synergies come together. So for instance, automation. Maybe you have a process guy in your company, and you want to automate processes utilizing AI. Mm? That would be a new role. I already talked about decision making. This is a key role. So how can we really ensure that we make decisions that are not depending on one question we pose to AI, but maybe a reconciliation of, that we don't go into the trap that we have bad data, or compliance. Are we complying with the upcoming laws and regulations on AI, which should also cover the ethical factor, and we also talked about resource management. Resource management always is for portfolios, for projects, is a hot topic, and AI can certainly and is already helping companies to get more insights. Because the problem with resource management, one of the problems with that is that you don't have very actual recent data. People are working on something, and maybe you know at best next week what
Mhm.
happened, what's
Yeah.
said, how was the process. AI can know it immediately. If people
Yeah.
work on something, the AI has the insights. Can have the insights if you allow it. If not any compliance, data privacy things are against it. And then the big thing that AI is doing already, but will be doing more and more, is monitoring of anything. Be it meetings, project data, chat reports, people data, social media, so what they are behaving. So I saw a snippet from China, where AI is monitoring pupils in the classroom,
Yeah.
and so monitoring face expression, and then understanding these guys are not taking part in the discussion or whatever, and have no clue what's happening here. And then, is it good? Is it bad? It's supervision. And so if it gives the teacher a hint who needs some special help, then you could argue it's a good thing. But these guys sitting in the classroom, maybe they don't want to be supervised so closely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did one webinar today only with Michael, and when I'm going through that, I see the people were there, and I can see the list. And now, same time, it shows me information about who's attentive and who's not. So how come they can find out if I'm not paying attention to this? So it may be, maybe I
Yeah.
start moving to the other screen or doing something else. By observing the pattern, you know that the person is not paying attention.
But you're bringing up a very good point, because we don't know how this AI is really working. How they would recognize that there is somebody not paying attention. So even if you are among humans, if you talk to a Japanese, it's very hard for a Westerner to tell if they are just paying attention or sleeping.
Yeah.
How would the AI distinguish, these cultural aspects of behaviors, of mimic, of gestures, and of even of participating? So it's a danger, because you have to trust what AI is saying, and then somebody says he's not paying attention, and you tell him and say, why do you think so? And then you say, AI told me so, and then this guy, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
difficult situation. Yeah.
I mean, I can see, at least one person I know. And whenever I'm speaking and he's closing his eyes, I said, "Are you okay?" Yeah, yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening from I'm deep listening, actually. I was getting impression that he probably not showing an interest or feeling sleepy, but actually he's thinking more while I'm talking, which is,
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, nobody is obliged to open up the camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Believe me, normally,
Yeah.
and so we have if some women want to somehow look very pretty, and maybe they already went into the bed and had everything ready, or some religions like Sikh religion, they cannot show you the hair, but that's why they have a turban on all the time. But maybe they take it off at home and then they don't open the camera. There are many reasons why people might behave in a way that AI is maybe looking at and say, okay, he's not taking part or whatever, he's not interested. So
Exactly.
difficult. So that's a big point, having trust in AI. And on the other hand, if you look back 30 years, when 35 years, when Microsoft introduced Excel, so people said you cannot trust Excel.
Yeah.
Was the same discussion, and actually you cannot trust Excel because you program it, and you select and how many mistakes did you have in Excel? Many. But then you went in and said, why is that? And in the end, you made a mistake with Excel, and it's the same with AI. You made a mistake with AI by giving them wrong data, maybe.
Yeah, and AI is not different to what humans are actually. Like whatever I'm thinking or analyzing or deciding is based on my past experience, what I've learned from my school, what I learned from my father, mother, and my decisions or my interpretation of the word is going to be based on my own values created during the last many years.
Yeah.
So AI is same, AI is learning, as we know, and whatever data is provided, that's your background. The decision made based on that environment created for that AI, the data you provided, the question you asked, that's what it is. And even human, should you believe everyone they say what they say? Some people lie, and they know they're lying, and then you also know that they're lying. So
Yeah. But there is a difference because AI is a machine, and we tend to trust machines, like your coffee machine, that they make a good coffee, or your car, that it doesn't break out somewhere. So I think we would expect more quality and reliance from machines than we expect from humans. You're right. We cannot trust every human, but that's also the target of team building. That you build that trust and establish the trust in the team.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so how crucial is proficiency in data literacy for maneuvering through the constantly evolving landscape of project management methodologies?
Well, data literacy, yes, means that you understand what's going on with data and how to
Yeah.
utilize it in that context. And I don't think it's only limited to project management methodologies, but
Yeah.
to our life.
Yeah. Yeah.
How important is how you deal with your social media.
Mm.
It nothing to do with your projects, but it is important, that you understand how your profile should look like, what you post, and how you post it. I think it's crucial that you understand what data is and also what data not is,
Mm.
because um, uh, so first you have to understand experts, because experts understand in depth uh, the compliance, decision making, the privacy of data. They know it. And you also talk with experts regarding social media. How can I avoid to be, let's say, hacked or whatever, and you get this information. You have to become knowledgeable about how to uh, put the right questions to experts in that data literacy.
Yep.
Second, uh, to make informed decisions, you have to rely on data, yes, but that's not all, because most of our decision making still is not data driven. It's the biases. We for all our decisions, we don't have 100% of the data we need to make the decision reliant. So we always have a part of the required data, and then we make assumptions. We complete the data we have to something, and then we conclude something. And that's when a lot of mistakes happen, or people have a good gut feeling and they make good decisions based
Mm.
on that assumptions. So and the third thing, so understand the experts. The first thing, like, make informed decisions. So, but don't rely 100% on data.
Yep.
And the third thing is, expand your tool set. How to deal, how to understand, how to get to data. So and which tools to use, which apps to use, or which is it ChatGPT or something. So now I think I have hundreds of AI tools somewhere in a list, and it's still overwhelming. It's still, in the early days of monetizing the stuff. And people, startups and big companies, Microsoft, they go into the market and they overwhelm ourselves with AI tools. And this will maybe go on for 2 or 3 years, and then there will be this Gartner hype curve a little bit peaking and coming down. So, but in order to be not too enthusiastic about it and not too disappointed once the hype curve goes down, inform yourself. Yeah, data literacy is important, and
Yeah.
data and AI without data is not possible.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, as a project manager, even as a project manager, having the some information or some knowledge about how to read some data can be useful.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
you're working with data scientists, and they are the one who are the expert, but you also play important role to when you're talking to them. You can talk to them in some mature language instead of, hey guys, you know everything, you can tell me. No, let's
yeah.
talk about it, how to extract, how to get it, and that will be more useful than just relying on somebody else. Yeah. So can you highlight how robust data governance practices contribute to AI technologies ethical and judicious deployment within the project management context?
Yeah, I think this second class of PMI talking about data is very much focusing on this aspect of data literacy and data governance. And I recommend to spend this 2 or 3 hours on this class. So I think what will come up, it's starting now, is the compliance thing. So when can you use AI? When can you use this data? Who's owning the data? How to establish an audit trail? These are all points, you have to be aware of and maybe implement in your projects.
Yeah.
You cannot just grab something and then put it into there. I'm uh, I'm looking at how to write scientific papers, and for sure the scientists, they now use AI and ChatGPT and whatever, but they have requirements to put into their papers an ethical statement. So what they did use and how they deal with the data. And if they make surveys to people, they have to ask these people if it's allowed to utilize that data. So that's a very tedious process they have to go through, and many project managers don't have experience with that right now. So give you an example. You have a survey and you go to a school and survey the kids. Well, before you can do that, you ask the school, ask the parents, and then make sure the data is anonymized, and then if it's published, you still have to keep that audit trail, that people can look into what did you do with the data, and is it destroyed after you publish your paper. So
Mm.
ethics is a big point here, ethics driving the compliance thing. And all the quality of the data is a big point, because you also have to make sure that the data you get, is quality tested and cross-tested. So the relevance of the data and the trustworthiness of the data depends on this compliance and ethics and quality topics.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay. How might organizations cultivate an environment conducive to collaborative knowledge sharing among the team members regarding AI and data related insights?
Well, it's like with all change programs, you introduce something and you have to do this top-down management involvement, change management
Yeah.
exercise. Have to, so executive management has to issue a vision, what we want to do, and a statement that we do. Then you have to enable people to unlearn and learn, and this takes time. If they are people, you maybe if they would be AIs, it would be faster, but uh, no, they are still people, and they are doing stuff because they have a target in business to do this, that here and there, and then now you come and say, okay, now we are using um, in a new environment, and they have to unlearn all old stuff and learn new stuff, and also have the resources for that. So you need some slack in their timing, so that you can not only have um, uh, formal trainings, but also discussion forums and all of that, and this informal trainings, when you bring together people and try to change how they behave, how they work,
Yep.
then you do it in teams, and then this could uh, lead to that collaborative knowledge sharing, and as I said the example before, when in one company silos are there, and it's hard to break the walls between silos. So it's also um, the vision from the top management should also be accompanied with a flattening of the organization. So and tearing down these silos, which
Yeah.
I doubt that all companies will do, but I think it's easier if you can do that.
Yeah. So how do we collaborate? How do we encourage the team members to share the knowledge? By as you rightly said, and I mean, my point of view is encourage them to have some kind of team collaborative relation. Talking to each other, brown bag sessions, and talk about and encourage them. And there are people who they want to. Okay, I got something new, and it will help. It's helping me. Why should I share with somebody else? And they will also be equally good at. So as a manager, as a project manager, you need to ensure that people are actually exchanging message. Maybe you can have some goals around sharing knowledge and sharing, rewarding them for doing something which is outside of their comfort zone. So maybe you use that
Yeah,
technique.
I think at the start you have to understand what is inhibiting collaboration,
Yeah,
and there are a lot of inhibitors in today's company. So like, confidentiality clauses.
Yeah,
So if you are, let's say, in a research department and you are by no means allowed to share this information, even
that
with other people in your company or HR or whatever, you have it. So it's you have to overcome from the organization these formal inhibitors. Otherwise people won't share. And then you can also say, okay, why should I share? What do I have from it?
yeah.
And you some companies, they establish something like, that you have a invention budget, and if you have an idea which is then implemented, you get some boni, and this could be possible. But it's not an easy task, and it's not just saying, okay, please collaborate. That's not working. By the way, I was astonished. I read the new program management standard, and they have a new domain which is about collaboration and synergy. Though just by reading across this, so I found this interesting, but I'm not sure that I understand from one time reading, what the content is of this performance domain. Do you have
Mm.
some more insights on that?
No, I'm still building my knowledge around that. I'm yet to get into deep diving. I have a session coming up next week where I'm explaining the what is in for the program managers for with the fifth edition and change of exam ECO and application. So I'm building my knowledge around and going through
Okay.
this learning. Yeah,
Same to me. It's quite new. The standard came out 2 or 3 weeks
yeah.
ago, and uh, I think for the core, it didn't change so much.
Yeah,
But
core has not changed, and exam has not changed. It's just they added extra
okay,
eight what do you call
principles.
principles, and they are useful and good. They are aligned with, I think, code of ethics, and these are more from the code of ethics point of view. And yeah, important for you as a program manager to know about these principles. But at this stage, or as per PMI, the exam is not getting impacted because of the performance domains.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
these principles.
Good.
Okay, why must project manager understand internal and external data source in the age of AI?
Yeah. So, as an organization, we uh, we depend on the outer world, on the context. It's the market, our customers, our providers, our competitors. As a project manager, we tend to look at the inside of a project more than, let's say, a CEO of an organization. So external data is needed to get new perspectives. What are they doing? What is Uber
Mm.
doing? Maybe I can learn from that. Uh, if you need resources, he understands to do this and that, and you get it from the outside, maybe not from the inside, because your people, and their skills and capabilities. uh, all regulatory and legal stuff comes from the outside, is outside data, and so the market, as I said, your customers, your competition, maybe the geography where you are, the laws, and we have this famous pestle report when we look at different aspects like environment and economy of the company. So this is external data, and this is needed for an organization, maybe less for a project, but also a project should be at least for the perspectives and innovation, looking outside. And then you have the internal data, the internal data where we also mostly are not good at. Think about lessons learned, knowledge management here. And, we know it's important, but it's rarely done. I have some people working in the um, nuclear waste business,
Yep.
and actually they are the best, which I have experienced in project management, that are looking at preserving knowledge.
Uh-huh.
Because it's not on paper, it's not only digital, whatever, they have to make sure that what they do today is recorded and audited, and then being prepared to be available in 200 years, let's say. So that's a target. And so they have a very extensive uh, process environment around knowledge management and knowledge-based learning. The most companies in IT or wherever, don't have that. And I think this is something that also AI may help with, to build this knowledge base and this track record if we tell AI what to do. And only with that, only with the historical data and only with the data from other projects and within the company, you can create synergies, and collaboration, because then you talk about joint stuff and maybe which is how do you come to that data? Well, I think in contrast to the PESTLE, which we have on external data, it's a SWOT analysis. So we can look at our projects. Okay, what are the strengths and the weaknesses, the opportunities, the threats? We look at that, and then we find out some insights, whatever so we analyze it. So the question was, why must project managers look at internal and external data? The reasons are the same, but external data internally is different. And as it comes together with AI, there can be synergies, and AI can produce better results with better decisions, better analysis, better suggestions.
Yeah. And when we are doing estimations of the projects and how long it will take, it can be some internal data useful because, yeah, as you said, past projects, past program, and the lesson learned you have, and also external data, which, let's say doing a public program, you're putting a new high-speed train line. So, if you know that like China has done it and Japan has done it, so you learn from them as well. And that external data can be good source of your starting point. How is going to go with your project or program?
So I recall my good friend Ricardo Vargas, will PMI fellow and former PMI chair of the board, and he worked for some time for the United Nations Ops, UNOPS.
Yeah.
And he was there in a kind of PMO, establishing. It's exactly what you said, estimation of projects. And they had a lot of data from UNOPS, So they had categories of projects and some attributes. And what he did, it's almost 15 years ago, what he did, He established a neural network tool on Excel base, by the way, and where all these data from past projects of UNOPS came in, and then he could develop estimates for new projects, not using only parameters as he would use, how many resources, whatever, but a lot of resources, geography, and from the context of the project. And so he gave a presentation at one of the PMI congresses about it. So it's public knowledge, and you can also get this information from him. But this was already AI in Excel, neural networks, there was I think, a macro which are doing that, and the data input was internal data input from UNOPS, what they knew about past projects, and it was a list of, I don't know, 50, 60 projects, and it was enough to make, yeah, let's say, estimates estimates which they could use to start a new project.
Mm.
The kind of projects they had actually was to build a new refugee camp in whatever Sudan. This was a project, and then
Yeah.
it has to be estimated because UNOPS doesn't have a big money bag where all isn't there, though they also have to create some funding and constraints, in time and budget.
Yep, yep. If you have reliable source of information, estimation, because one is somebody can ask you what is the basis of estimation. Oh, yeah, I was using my data from the previous projects, similar work we did in past, and also we have
Yeah.
analyzed some other external sources, and that's where we collected everything and we massaged it, we put in the machine, and we got these numbers coming out.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the fact that, despite every project is unique, we also doing the same type of project again and again,
Exactly.
what we can learn.
Yeah, yeah. While they're unique, but they have similarities in many ways, one way or other. So we like to find out what similarity and what can we use from that particular project which we did or somebody else did into this new project we are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can leadership support and endorsement significantly impact the success and adoption of data literacy initiatives within an organization in the age of AI?
Again, it's like every change that leadership is supporting
Mm,
or endorsement is impacting, the success. If people understand that the CEO or leadership at all, all the team is behind the stuff, then it helps a lot. So it helps with the culture,
yeah.
because it might, if CEO says, "Oh, we have a big new thing, and I want you all to participate and help us," maybe he can uh, find some volunteers within his that are willing to become champions in that change program and in
Yeah.
the transformation. So instill a culture for this team of champions of collaboration, regardless where they come from in the organizations. They must be a team and collaborate and create something jointly, and while being ethical. There's also culture is collaboration, ethics, and learning. In this respect, and leadership. Maybe one of the leaders should be the top champion of this task. Of transformation of governance. And then leadership also has to provide the resources. It's the people and maybe also partners who are skilled. As I said, with AI, with data literacy, it's probably not something your current staff already has a knowledge of. So you have to work with partners, maybe with consultants or whatever, and bring them in. The funds, the money, you need the money, and you need the spaces. Where would that champions in the team reside? Do they have? Are they dispersed, or do you bring them together to foster quick collaboration and quick teaming? So these are all aspects a leader should consider when trying to establish such a initiative.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's very important that we have support from the organizational leaders that because they need to understand why this is happening, why we should be getting data literacy, and they should be, as you correctly mentioned, there should be sponsorship from them, encouragement from them, and they need to understand the importance of this data literacy, how this will help us as an organization. CEO has to understand because that's where they are taking the organization. Okay, this is why this data literacy important. All of you have to get bare minimum training, whether you're talking about PMI training or some other training. This much bare minimum everybody has to have, and how you're going to use this data in this particular format.
Yeah. Well, I think, if you wanna go into that direction, it's a kind of transformation,
Mm.
And I would look into the transformation compass that is provided by Brightline,
Yeah.
which is a kind of PMI, and you're right, what you're saying, top leadership support,
Yeah.
but a transformation always has to be driven from the inside, That's why I'm saying you need internal champions
Yeah.
to say, okay, we want that, we want to support it, it's for our own benefit, for our company's benefit. If you try to do it only with consultants or external partners, it probably will fail,
Yeah. Yeah. Why do companies need to look ahead and plan for how generative AI might affect their business strategies and how competitive they are?
Um, the basic answer is do not stay behind,
Yeah,
because if you stay behind, you might become obsolete. And
absolutely. Yeah,
other people might take over your customers. If your customers are better served by people who utilize AI, be it in a call center, that's the first customer contact, or be it on sales, on intelligence, what's happening, on market pricing, on marketing, or whatever. There are so many factors when you don't keep up with technology, you might become obsolete, and that's
exactly.
the key point. Also, if you invest in AI, and it's not only generative AI, maybe new AI aspects might be coming up soon, you are building your resilience from being innovative and 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 yeah and preemptively tackling disruptions. That's the point, you don't know what is coming, but you prepare yourself anyhow to be able to weather these storms that will be coming. So that's what cautious and prudent people do, and business alike. Um, so, and then what you will earn from it, more customer insight and more maybe customer retention and loyalty, and also your staff and your talents will be happy to be in such an innovative company. And yes, you probably will automate and improve your efficiency, uh, and be a more uh, uh, active and resilient organization.
Yeah, and it's very important for companies to keep an eye open and you know do all kind of scenario analysis, what if analysis, and that's where your generative AI or AI tools can help you. Okay, what if this happen? What if your competitor release the product in the market better than yours? How you can still retain the leadership in that product?
Yeah.
What else you can do? You don't want to be in a situation where some companies which were very well known at the time, holding more than 50% of the market share, global market share, suddenly they are nothing. Nowhere you can find them. One of them is BlackBerry. They were one time very the prestige to have, having that BlackBerry click phone suddenly out because Apple came and they have something new feature, new product altogether.
Yeah.
What happened to your Blueberry's client? All the loyal clients gone to Apple.
What happened to Nokia? What
Yeah,
happened to Kodak? Yeah.
Kodak, Nokia, Blockbuster, and many names actually. Yeah, because they were not able. Other people are, of course, they're working heavily in the new market, new data, new analysis, and if you're not looking at what they're looking, then you're going to be left behind. You will be closing your shop very, very soon.
Yeah.
All right. So, how can organizations utilize data literacy to promote innovation and people business expansion, proper business expansion amid the changing environment influenced by artificial intelligence advancements?
So, innovation.
Yeah, innovation.
You you always innovate by combining knowledge that is not together yet, but you combining that Uber, what did they
Yeah.
do? Cars and taxis and an internet, and and providing for the clients a very safe environment, because you have your credit card not with the taxi driver but with them, and you don't need to talk with the taxi driver because it's all in the computer, and
Yeah.
so innovation uh, is always considering that you have data points from different areas. So data literacy in AI, will enable to be much more creative, innovative than you could be today. That's something. And you could even use maybe tools like ChatGPT. You say, okay, ChatGPT, look at these two areas and see what are data points that are not yet connected in our organization. And then you get maybe a list of data points that are not yet connected, and then you can start thinking about it. Could I create from that, something new that is valuable for the market? Um, Expansion is also, you will be, as we said several times, you will be with AI and with data literacy, you will be forced to talk to other people you don't talk to yet now. The compliance people and the data governance people and all this stuff, and they will enable you to expand in other areas you haven't seen yet. So nurture your network, I can say, and
Yeah.
don't make a closed shop. Don't do everything by yourself. Don't try to be self-contained, but open up and send out your people, to conferences, to partners, and so business is about networking, and it's about humans, and we need humans as customers, but also as partners, and then we can expand our
Mm.
yeah, importance.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, great. Uh, Thank you, Thomas. It was another insightful session, and it was nice working with you on this topic, hot topic, data literacy and artificial intelligence. Importance of data literacy for the project management is very, very important. Now, everybody's talking about data, everybody talking about artificial intelligence. Why project manager can left behind or should left behind? You need to be the forefront of this knowledge and use this knowledge to do your job even better. Okay.
Yeah,
So
thanks, Dharam.
thank you. And I will see you soon again with a new topic and new discussion.